Hello, I'm Marissa. I am Eat This Not That social media director, and we are about to go live with two members of our medical expert board here at Eat This Not That, the nutrition twins. Lyssie and Tammy are twin sisters and nationally recognized registered dietitian nutritionists, personal trainers, and leading experts in healthy living with more than 15 years of experience motivating, inspiring, and empowering thousands to lose weight, get healthier, happier, and into tip-top shape. And today, Lyssie and Tammy will be sharing how to beat the food cravings that you, our followers, wrote in and said you are currently struggling with. Thank you for being here again. We're so excited to have you.
Thank you.
These are the nutrition twins. If you missed my introduction, they are members of our medical expert board here at Eat This Not That, and they are so wonderful and so full of knowledge. So today, once again, food cravings, and we have a list of food cravings that our followers specifically told us that they are currently struggling with. They're very relatable, so hopefully they pertain to you watching as well. We're going to run through that list, but is there anything you ladies would like to say before I jump right in and we start talking about them specifically?
Well, I think one of the huge things that really surprises people about food cravings is that it's not all about, but usually 80% of the time, food cravings can be controlled by blood sugar. So even if you don't have diabetes, which hopefully none of us do, but even if we do, blood sugar swings happen to all of us, and they set us up for cravings. So many of our afternoon cravings for sugars, carbs, caffeine are really related to what we have at breakfast. It's kind of crazy. Or if we have
or lunch.
But generally, it starts at breakfast, and we see if we stabilize our clients' blood sugar at breakfast, the cravings really dissipate for the things that we're going to talk about, other ways to go to them. But so the main things you want to make sure before you go into any craving that your blood sugar is stable. And the reason we do this is because when our blood sugar goes high, like if we have all carbs for breakfast,
say you have a bagel or you have cereal or just even plain fruit with nothing to slow the digestion down.
Even the healthy carbs, if there's no protein or fiber to slow down that blood sugar rise, when it drops, it triggers our body to release cortisol, which is a belly fat hormone. But also like, oh my God, that's when you're like, carbs.
When that blood sugar drops, your brain is searching for the quickest pick-me-up you can find. So immediately, you don't have much control, and you're looking for sugar because that's going to give you the quick high. But then it starts this vicious cycle because then you come crashing back down, craving more carbs or more caffeine or more sugar or refined carbs.
Or pasta or pizza or whatever you crave. So that's the key. You want to stabilize it. And so before you indulge in any of these treats and craving foods that we're about to talk about, and we'll help you out with this more, but you want to make sure your blood sugar is stable before, because if you go into having something that you crave and your blood sugar is low, even if it's something that's just fatty that won't necessarily spike you, it's still really hard to control those cravings because your mind and everything is just you're not on an even keel.
You'll be fighting against a tough battle if your blood sugar is low.
Been
there, done that.
Yeah. We're saving the world from our own experiences. Let's put it that way.
Okay. Well, with that foundation, I will go ahead and read from, again, if you're tuning in, these are food cravings that our followers told us they're currently struggling with. So the first is
sugary sweets. Now that is,
that's always been our downfall. So we can certainly relate to anyone who's struggling there.
Yeah. And remember, go into this situation with an even keel so that your blood sugar is stable. So if your blood sugar is not stable, and if you've already crashed, it's nearly
very
impossible.
difficult to turn down that craving.
Yeah. But if you already we like to have people fill up first on something, like if they're not sure, I'm not sure if my blood sugar is stable, at least like have a bunch of vegetables first, like the vegetable crudité, and so you can be rational first, and then say, all right, you know what? Maybe I want a little bit of something like dark chocolate, or maybe I just want to reset my taste buds and start liking something a little less sweet. And then what's been really helpful for people is if they find a fruit and use natural fruit sugar. Like some of my clients love mandarin oranges, and they find they actually start to crave that.
People who like Starburst tend to like the kiwi fruit. So there's different kind of makeshift kind of things because the sweet tarts, the kiwi fruit.
Yeah.
There's kind of different. You can kind of go for that craving when based on the fruit. So the other thing, like blueberries are a great one.
Frozen blueberries, I tend to like popsicles and frozen. So for myself, when I've had to go through those changes where I'm like, you're liking a little sweets a little bit too much. Let's cut back and do a little taste bud reset. I find that the frozen blueberries, when they thaw a little bit, so there's like a little bit of the sweet juice that gets in there, it became my new craving. It took like the first few days are a little bit like, this isn't chocolate, you know? But then it's like, oh my God, like this is a kind of amazing.
And the other thing is, if you really do want that chocolate, if you're that person who can just stick to a small square, that's great. Or freeze that chocolate so it takes longer.
You can't wolf it down as fast.
Other suggestions that have worked for our clients and for us are chocolate popsicles, things that really slow you down so they make you enjoy it. Because if it's like frozen, you can't really wolf it down the same way you can with regular chocolate.
Right.
Totally. That makes so much sense. Have peanut butter.
Peanut butter. Oh gosh, now I feel like I'm going to be guilty of all these things. That's
it's very easy to eat the whole jar there. So
yeah, that's the thing. Now, peanut butter, the good thing about it is that it's not going to spike your blood sugar. It is very stabilizing for the blood sugar. So if you go into that situation and you're already stable and you have a little bit, you'll be able to be rational, and it's not going to leave you like from a blood sugar perspective wanting more. But there's something about that creaminess and that flavor that just gets us all. Personally, because I as much as I love chocolate, which is my thing, peanut butter, I could open up the jar and just eat straight the whole jar. Like that is a crazy one.
So what really works and what's worked for our clients is those packets that are just pre-portioned and not buying the whole jar. So if you can just have a pre-portioned packet. Another thing that
I'll tell you what really works for me is full disclosure. If I just take the jar and go into it with a spoon, like it's an empty jar.
Yeah.
Horrible. But if I like put a muzzle on my mouth, take out I'm not kidding, you're not a real muzzle. I mean, I'm kidding, not a real muzzle, but basically like just use as much control as you can and measure a portion in advance. And I sit down with it and I fully enjoy it. Like I'll sit down maybe like instead of doing a tablespoon, I'll do 3 teaspoons. There's something about it for me that like I'm like, yeah. Oh, another one. You know, I get 3 of them versus like a tablespoon. That's really helpful. And for some of my clients. And what were you going to say?
I was going to say the powdered peanut butter. Some people at first have gotten turned off. But the thing about it is, and this works as a benefit, it has the flavor, maybe not quite as strong. So you're getting some of that peanut butter flavor. But the creaminess is there, but not to the same degree. So it kind of can curb that craving without giving you so much. And then it's also about half the calories. It's really helpful there. A lot harder to overdo it, but hopefully it can tame that craving.
Yeah.
Awesome. So many suggestions for that one, which is great. Okay, now Coca-Cola. Something
soda. And with Super Bowl coming up, soda is such a big one. This is our clients tell us this all the time. And soda, the problem is it's just all sugar, 45 grams of sugar in some sodas.
And one can's 150 calories. So
and for context, we shouldn't get more than like 25 grams of sugar if you're a female.
In a day.
And 45 grams in some sodas. So, but it's very addictive. And then the artificial sweetening one, people are like, oh, well, there's no sugar for the inflammation and all that sugar. But it disrupts the gut microbiome. It's been shown to cause more cravings. And when you disrupt the gut microbiome, it can cause...
And it makes it harder. It makes it harder to lose weight and easier to gain weight. It completely throws off all of your body's mechanisms that would help you to lose weight. So
yeah. Well, now there's some great options. We find, our clients and almost everyone we know, ourselves included, we love Olipop. I don't know if you've tried it. It is.
Yeah.
It's so good. So there's only 3 to 5 grams of sugar in it. And it's got
35 to 50 calories. So that's
versus,
really
like the whole can of.
And you get that bubbly, you get the flavor. And then the part that we love, because we're talking about the artificial sweeteners that throw off, you know, the microbiome, there's 9 grams of prebiotic fiber. So that really helps with digestion. It favors,
good metabolism. Yeah. So we find that our clients are like, if they're like, yeah, I love that, I'm like, oh, perfect, a good relief for us there. So that's just a great one. Like we always turn to it. Like if you fill your Super Bowl table with that, you won't get any complaints. You know, that's what we do. Like
there's a lot of flavors.
Yeah, there's a ton of flavors. So, yeah.
Perfect. Okay. Speaking of Super Bowl, the next one we have is chips, Cheetos, and Goldfish. So all kinds of snacks that will certainly be popular this weekend.
Those are popular. You know what we have found is the way to go is the popcorn, and more of like, you know, even there's so many brands out there that now use less oil. So, you know, in 3 cups, you can get 110 calories. There's all these brands are now competing for, you know, whether it's the skinny one or this one or that one that have, you're getting that salt, you're getting that crunch, but the calories, you can eat a lot more. You know, people want to kind of munch mindlessly, and you kind of can with popcorn. So that's,
well, if you're choosing one of those. So
right.
Like I've had some clients where I'm like, which popcorn did you get? And then I'm like, oh, well, nice try. It's much better than the chips. Next time we'll get it. We got it next time, you know. Like we'll keep it to. Remember, choose one of these brands that are like.
So the lower calorie popcorns really, or you can pop your own. It's an inexpensive way to do it. And then some of our clients like to add cinnamon, just kind of
different spices. They like the everything seasoning, you know, on the popcorn.
Yeah.
Are there any popcorn brands specifically that stick out to you guys that you recommend to clients?
Well, I really like the Buddha popcorn.
Lesser evil.
Because the reason why is because the oils that they use, well, they're organic, and the oils that they use are not the seed oils that are more inflammatory.
The avocado one's a little harder to find, but that one's really good in terms of saturated fat and if you're fighting heart disease. But that one's great.
That brand,
but it really tastes really good too.
A lot of people like the skinny pop one too.
Yeah.
Awesome. Next, pizza and pasta.
Oh,
yes. Okay. So for pizza, you know, if you're making your own, you can kind of use a low-fat cheese. But if you're just buying it, one of the ways to really
stabilize your blood sugar first.
Yes, go for those veggies as much as you
can.
Yeah,
fill up on the veggies first. And
they'll leave less room for the pizza.
Yeah. But then have just a slice of pizza and
blot it. Blot the cheese. Blot the cheese so you can still get it. But blotting the cheese, this is like from a while back, but I remember there was research that showed that you could cut the calories from the cheese by 50%, which is significant because there's so much fat in there in the grease.
Yeah, and my clients take photos of the foods that they eat. You know, it shows up in real time. We just use this app. You know, nowadays it's how I know what they're eating, and I see a napkin next to it, and it's all black. I'm like, oh, look at how much oil you saved yourself. That was at least 200 calories. Way to go! Yeah.
Yeah, so it really can if you're able to stick to that one piece of pizza, which hopefully then you can. If you're blotting and saving a lot of calories, it's pretty amazing. Then for pasta, one of the things that we tell a lot of our clients to do is to go with the other pastas, like the chickpea pasta, the lentil pasta. Those are high protein pastas, and they'll still give you your carb fix, but not make it quite so addictive. So, and then the protein is going to stabilize the blood sugar. So that's
or they could use a whole wheat pasta, which will stabilize their blood sugar and get more so, and then make sure they put a little protein in, not just straight up pasta.
Yeah,
so chicken breast,
shrimp.
Perfect. Had no idea that there were that many calories to be saved from blotting.
Yeah, amazing, right?
Well, that's when you see all the grease sitting on top.
Yeah,
that's when you know, like, and if you don't see it sitting on much of it on top of the pizza as much, sometimes the pizza's cold, so don't be tricked. But if it's not cold, then they might have used less cheese or less fatty cheese, which would be great.
Or you sometimes have to be careful that it didn't drain into the sauce and the bread below.
No, but we usually
sit up top.
Next, coffee.
Coffee. Well, this is typically
really specifically.
You're saying you can relate to that one?
Yes.
And usually not enough sleep or a blood sugar thing if you're craving it in the afternoon because you're tired. It's usually that you're tired. So we get used to the caffeine fix, and that's so more often than not, it's either just we're tired. It's not really or it's the blood sugar. Very often it's a blood sugar thing, like your blood sugar dips, so you need energy, and that's your go-to.
So coffee has a lot, there's in 1 cup of Starbucks, there's usually, depending on the size, between 150 to 200 to 400 milligrams of caffeine. So if you're trying to wean back a little on the caffeine and say you didn't get enough sleep, but you really do need your caffeine fix, green tea is great because you're getting the antioxidants. And then also you're getting, depending on which green tea it is, maybe 50 to 75 milligrams of caffeine. And not quite, well, if it's matcha, maybe even less, like 25 if it's just a normal cup of tea, but you're getting some caffeine. So, as long as you're not relying on your coffee as a crutch to get through the day, and I think most of us probably are, then it's okay. But it's more, you want to limit it to about 400 to 500 max milligrams of caffeine a day. So,
yeah, we did here at Eat This do, I think it was a 30-day experience of replacing her coffee with green tea. So check that out on our website if you want to see a positive experience with it. But
awesome.
Yeah. Okay, and then we've reached our question. It is salami and pepperoni. So all cold cut.
Right. This is a tough one. So salami and pepperoni, out of all of those, it's probably the one that we have our clients try to limit the most because it has known carcinogens in it. It's so fatty. So in that case, I mean, there's like turkey pepperoni, like the Applegate Farm doesn't use the cured meat, so you're better off not using cured. But there's still other things that there's like a celery powder that's just as, it's been shown to be carcinogenic as well. So and it's very high fat. So, but we prefer the turkey because it's
the turkey bacon, the turkey salami, all of those are going to be helpful because you'll save a lot of calories.
Saturated fat.
The saturated fat is what clogs the arteries. So anytime you can cut back there, it's a great thing.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having
us.
To everyone that tuned in. If you tuned in late, this is going to be posted to Eat This Not That's Facebook page right away, so you can go back and watch from the beginning. There were so many relatable food cravings that you guys gave us wonderful tips for. Please, before we sign off, tell everyone where they can find you and follow you online.
Oh, thank you. Thanks. We're the Nutrition Twins. They can follow us at Facebook, the Nutrition Twins, Instagram, Nutrition Twins.
Our website's nutritiontwins.com.
Perfect.
So Nutrition Twins everywhere.
Yeah, Pinterest is the only one that's Nutrition Twin.
That was typo. I don't know.
Okay. Yes. Always sharing tips just like these. Thank you so much for
having us.